What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to some more My Hero Academia Ultra Impact, and today we have a brand new character reveal on the official Twitter accounts. It is the meme lord himself, the one who never got a unit in My Hero Academia Smash Tab. It is the boy KUROGIRI, man, finally getting some love and getting a playable character for My Hero Academia Ultra Impact. So if you guys are hyped, make sure to smack that like button down below, and we're going to go over all of his details here in the Twitter reveal today. This was not a character that was also in the closed beta test, so we have no idea about anything that he does. So let's go ahead and read all of his information here today. But before we go ahead and get started, make sure you guys go down there, click that red subscribe button if you haven't already, to join the Heroes and Villains community here today on Hydros Impact, as well as click that bell, turn on all notifications, that way you don't miss out on any future videos, whether it be guides, gameplay, summons, showcases, everything. Gonna be your best one-stop shop for My Hero Academia Ultra Impact here on YouTube. So, KUROGIRI, man, the one who never got a unit in My Hero Academia Smash Tab, which you can see here, My Hero Academia Smash Tab. Additional characters, he was an NPC, but he never actually got a unit in Smash Tab. So that's awesome that we're finally seeing a KUROGIRI. So let's go ahead and kind of go over his tweet. So playable character announced, finally! The meme lord gets one. His quirk is Warp Gate, or it says his name is Black Fog. It's KUROGIRI. His quirk is Warp Gate, a troublesome enemy villain who gives himself an avoidance state with the Warp Gate of the Death of God. So that is what his quirk is. Most likely, I assume, again, like most of these posts, I assume that this is his plus ultra attack, but there are some instances where they do tell us an action skill based type of description as well. So take that with a little bit of grain of salt that this could be his plus ultra, most likely, but this is also a possibility that it could be an action skill as well. It doesn't say that it also deals damage, so this is describing something that does not deal damage. So most likely this could be an action skill that just gives him an avoidance state, which is kind of like evasiveness to where he can't get hit pretty much. Basically, that's what it means, avoidance. They could just call it evasiveness too, but avoidance is what the game is calling it, I believe. And KUROGIRI, again, it gives it to himself. I don't know how to feel about giving it to himself, because the green UR Ochako that was revealed, we did know her kit from the beta, so she gives an avoidance state with one of her action skills to all allies, so she is a bit better for the avoidance. But if like you're running a villains team, KUROGIRI probably would be a decent character to have on your team to get that avoidance, even if it is on himself. So if you're constantly getting attacked with KUROGIRI and he's taking quite a bit of damage, you can activate this skill, get that avoidance state, and then, you know, not take some hits for quite a bit to kind of save yourself if need be, or to kind of save yourself if you have like a villain healer. I imagine we would get a healer that's a villain, right? We don't actually have one that we know of currently. There wasn't one in the beta. The only villains we had in the beta were Shigaraki and Toga. So both of those didn't actually give healing. So we're still missing a villain-esque healer for the game. I'm sure we'll get one at some point. The currently revealed ones, I don't think any of those are healers. Like Stain definitely isn't a healer. Muscular definitely isn't a healer. So it will be cool to see when we see a healer come to the game that is a villain. I would like to maybe see one, you know, in these pre-releases. That would be really cool. But either way, his quirk is Warp Gate. And let's go ahead and take a look at the picture here. This SR KUROGIRI, as I always mention in all these videos, you can tell that this is kind of most likely an SR due to this screenshot. I'm going to go over again just to be sure that everyone knows. Whenever they post these Twitter reveals, we kind of can get an instance on whether this is a UR, SR, or lower rarity type of character, because this screenshot here, whenever they post UR characters, this screenshot image is generally like a screenshot of the plus ultra attack animation, which has a lot of effects, and you know, it looks not so bland like KUROGIRI just standing there, right? So definitely can tell when it's a plus ultra attack going on, and then when it's just something like this where it's just the model kind of chilling in battle and you just kind of see the USJ behind him and all that kind of stuff, this is most likely indicating that it is an SR. But still, we're getting an SR KUROGIRI, means we could eventually get a UR KUROGIRI down in the future as well. Also, for a UR KUROGIRI, this art here is pretty good even for an SR, but imagine a KUROGIRI animated art for the game that you can just have on your home screen. Ooh boy, just having all that Warp Gate animated is gonna look super awesome and super sick. But also with KUROGIRI, again, he is gonna be an SR. With this art, I can't tell if this is his awakened or unawakened art. It could go either way, honestly. To me, my opinion on the art, it most likely seems like unawakened, because maybe he'll get like a cooler looking pose for his awakened art. I would think maybe there's a possibility of it, but again, I don't know. This could be the, you know, this could be the awakened art and then something else be the unawakened. We don't know, but this is a pretty cool looking art. I can't wait to see other iterations of KUROGIRI art down in the line in the future as well. But again, it's not too flashy, but again, even for an SR, they have quite a good amount of effects on it. Like they have the warp gate and just kind of this black smog in the background and stuff. It still looks really good, and I really love the work they put it into even SR arts, and that's always what I enjoy about this game so far, is that they treat URs and SRs with a good amount of the same amount of love, right? This art-wise, and even on the reveals, right? Even for the reveals, this is an SR reveal. Like they've been revealing some URs here and there. They revealed a lot of SRs actually. A lot of the reveals so far have been SRs to my recollection. Again, don't quote me specifically, but I do remember a good amount of these being SRs. So that could be completely wrong too. Just because we think they're SRs, they could end up being URs and we have no idea, right? Because I thought the Endeavor that we had, that Endeavor from the Weekly Shonen Jump reveal, I thought he was a UR, but then when the Weekly Shonen Jump reveal came out, he ended up being SR. So because they revealed him on Twitter, and then it was shown in the Weekly Shonen Jump that he was an SR, which was super weird and super interesting to see. So let's read this little infograph on KUROGIRI as well. So villain, the enemy of the counselor who is acting with the dead tree. Oh, Google Translate sucks, man. He has a personality that connects space, or a quirk rather, that connects spaces through his own body and allows him to move everything. So again, it'll be an interesting quirk. I don't know what he could do attacking wise. I'd imagine he has some attacks, but I imagine it's highly focused around this avoidance. Again, he only gives it to himself. Even for him being on a League of Villain team, if this was to all allies, this would be super good for an SR. Again, it's an S. If it is an SR, I know why. I figured that might be why they didn't give it to all allies, because that would be something for the UR. I got a hiccup mid-sentence and that was weird. But either way, with Ochako is the better avoidance character, because the green UR Ochako gives avoidance to all allies. So she is a better version of KUROGIRI in a way, because KUROGIRI is also only giving it to himself. But Ochako gives it to all her allies, so then all your characters are not going to take damage, you know, for X amount, and then have the avoidance state for all your allies, versus KUROGIRI. Now KUROGIRI could come out with a UR and then he gives avoidance state to all allies. That would make much sense. That would be probably a good thing if they did that, you know, but it only gives it to himself. So I don't know, KUROGIRI, again, we have to see what other abilities this guy has, so I can't judge too much, but giving the avoidance state, avoidance is still pretty good, especially for these harder events. You know, you don't want to take damage too often, so having that avoidance state for KUROGIRI, if he's a main staple on your villain team, definitely gonna probably be a main staple on a villain team, most likely, for some people, just because of that avoidance state. So definitely would have a slot there, just based off of this, because KUROGIRI, it's because he's mainly like a warp gate, you know, in the anime and stuff. I don't read manga, so I don't know what other cool things he's done, right? So just in terms of the anime, I imagine he can fight and stuff like that. And maybe he'll have an ability, right? So he does, maybe instead of avoidance to himself, he has an ability that uses warp gate that also disorientates the enemy or inflicts confusion on the enemy, to where they have confusion for like X amount of turns. That would be a really cool ability to see on KUROGIRI. I can imagine them giving him something like that. If they do end up giving him like damage dealing moves, which most characters are going to have damage dealing moves, there obviously is going to be basic attack damage, and then you have your action skill attacks, and then you have your plus ultra. If this is a plus ultra and he doesn't deal that damage, this is, I think, one of the only ones that doesn't actually deal damage on a plus ultra. If that's the case, again, they could be leaving out details. So again, take this information with a grain of salt, because we don't know the full extent of what he actually does right now, and we will once he does release in the game. So just judging off of this, because he only gives avoidance to himself, I would say villain wise, for a villain team, he would probably be a decent unit. probably a very last resort unit to have on a main rotation. He would be probably a good unit to have on your sub units, like for a sub unit on your team, because you have the 3 main characters, and then you have 2 sub units on a team. So he would most likely, in my opinion, judging just off of this, I would say that maybe he would be a decent unit to put on the sub team instead of the main 3 units, just because I feel like, at least currently with this little information, he probably could have, you could probably have better on your team than KUROGIRI right now. But regardless, it's awesome to see that KUROGIRI is getting a unit anyway, because in Smash Tap, there is no KUROGIRI. Like, you know, he was only an NPC in the game, so it's really cool to see him. Like, even Dabi, Stain, everything, Shigaraki, all for one, like Toga, all of these characters got one. Even Nomu got one, but KUROGIRI was left out because he did not get a unit in Smash Tap, which started a whole circle of memes regarding that. But it's finally over. KUROGIRI officially revealed. We did kind of see him, quote unquote, assuming he would get one because there was a boss model of him, like he was an enemy character. So it was likely that he was going to get a unit, but we didn't know. We didn't know that he was going to get a unit. They could have done like Smash Tap, made him an NPC boss, and that was it. We could have just never got a unit for KUROGIRI at all. But I'm glad to see them finally going in this direction, giving us a playable KUROGIRI. Again, I'm super excited to see what he could do in game. And again, he could definitely be a decent unit for your villains. For a main staple team outside of villains, I would say he's B tier. Yeah, I'd say B tier, judging off the information we have now. Again, that could change until we get the full information on him. And again, I will do showcases with this guy on my channel, so if you guys do want to see showcases and stuff, make sure to subscribe down below and turn on all notifications. That way, don't miss out on all of that stuff coming in the future when the game does drop. Finally, I'm super excited for this game. But KUROGIRI, he's an SR, gonna be pretty obtainable for a lot of people, again, being an SR. Imagine if he was free though. Imagine if he was just a freely obtainable unit in like one of the shops. That'd be even cooler. Just have a free unit there, right? But I imagine he'll be on banners and stuff. I don't see him why he wouldn't be, just to have SRs on banners, right? So it wouldn't make sense to just only make him a free unit. We could get a free one down the line. You never know. We could. But again, KUROGIRI, it's a really cool unit, really cool ability that he has. It's just not super like game breaking, because Ochako, the green UR Ochako, gives avoidance state to all allies and makes for a better unit than KUROGIRI. And then Ochako also getting avoidance and then also having the action skill that also has a counter attack makes Ochako quite a bit better. So if you're having a main staple team, you're not focusing on villains, but you're just focusing on just like an all-around team, I would go with Ochako over this KUROGIRI for now until we see the full information. But if you're going for a villain team only, like a League of Villain team, because of Shigaraki's main ability, right, the passive ability, to where he buffs power to all League of Villain characters, KUROGIRI definitely would be a unit that you could have on main slot, but he would also be a decent probably to have on the sub slot as well. So definitely has a place somewhere. All units have a place somewhere in the game, and I really love that they're doing that. So really awesome, really cool. Can't wait to see what KUROGIRI does, and also his animations in game. Can't wait to see if we also get a UR in the future. But if you guys are hyped for KUROGIRI, make sure to drop a like down below if you guys are excited, and also subscribe to the channel, drop a like, and also click that bell to turn on notifications. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a fantastic day.